Hi, today on the Daily Review, we are going to talk about a movie from 1983 by Norman Jewison called Moonstruck, with special guest Mary Elizabeth. That's right, Mary Elizabeth. Community members added to the scene. Scene? I almost said screen. Anyway, Cher's in it, and Nicolas Cage, and Danny Aiello, and Olivia Dukakis. Today on the Daily Review with me, Joe LaRocca. I was thinking today I should have been saying the date all along. I've always should be going, oh, it's March 9th or March 8th or whatever. Okay, so let me just switch cameras real quick. Boy, this is why more than one person usually makes a show. And you are on, Mary Elizabeth. Welcome to the show. Can you hear?
Thank you.
Oh, yes, we hear you. It sounds good. Perfect. Look at that. Okay, so you were the one who was like, you should do Moonstruck, and I had strangely started taking notes on Moonstruck because it came out in a special Blu-ray edition, and I had to buy it because I'm compulsive, and I hadn't seen it in a really long time, and I was like, let's do it, we gotta do it, and so I don't know, it was strange, the fact that you said that. I was like, that's really kismet? Is that what that word means?
Yeah, I'd say that's right. Yeah.
Or serendipitous, which is, people use that word a lot. So, like, what was your relationship with this movie? When did you see it in the theater? I don't know. You would have been, I think we're roughly the same age, so you would have been, you've been like 5.
Yeah, I probably saw this when I was 6, but I didn't really understand it.
Yeah.
And then when I was older, then I got it. But I just think my parents laughed a lot at this movie. So it wasn't until I was like 12 or 13 that I actually got it, and I was like, oh, wow, this is a great movie.
Yeah, so just briefly, for people who don't know, I'm sure there's actually a lot of people, but it's a romantic comedy about Cher, who's a widower, and she lives with her family, and she's actually 27, which is 37, excuse me, which is my age, and she's like kind of plateaued in life. And Danny Aiello has asked for her hand in marriage, but he's kind of meek, we don't really,
Yeah, they really did a good job of making him look like a putz.
Yeah.
Because they were like trying to make him look like, well, yeah, of course I'd go with Nicolas Cage over this guy.
Yeah.
It kind of, I feel like they really were trying to make him look bad.
Yeah, and that's the first plot point for any students watching would be, Danny Aiello goes off to, his name's Johnny. He goes off to see the mother who's dying, and she bumps into his brother, Nicolas Cage, who's Danny Aiello's brother. I can't remember his name. Ronnie and Johnny.
Ronnie and Johnny.
Yeah, and then everybody's last name is like Capaclesi and Capacupi. Yeah. And it's like, it's great. And they don't seem to be right for each other, but they're perfect for each other, and it's kind of a classic romantic comedy. And I think it's much more mature than a lot of the romantic comedies we get nowadays. Like there's no sex jokes, there's no like bathroom humor or any of that. Since we can no longer watch Woody Allen movies, the amount of like smart romantic comedies made from like the 60s forward is like few and far between. So this is like truly an important film, because Norman Jewison is great, and he directed In the Heat of the Night is probably his most famous film, which is like socially conscious, very awesome movie. Maybe there'll be a documentary about how he's a creep someday, but right now, let's not worry about it.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I know. I don't want any more. God. That's what I tell my students. I go, we're gonna find out one day that like Tom Hanks eats babies or something, and then what are you gonna do? What are we gonna do?
It's like, stop watching his movies.
I know. Am I gonna get my Forrest Gump tattoo removed? It's actually Bubba Gump, and there's a balloon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know this is a romantic comedy, but I kind of feel like, yes, there's romance for sure, but I kind of feel like it's more of a comedy than anything. Like, to me, that's what makes this movie so good, is that it's just funny.
Yes.
And the way they, but it's not, I don't know, but it's got a lot of heart in it. And
it's not sappy. It's not sappy, and it's and it's actually fighting with those two ideas. That's a big part of it, like the drama versus the reality, like the concept of love, because it's like going to the opera versus like what's actually like going on in their lives and their ideas of love compared with like what actual love is, which we see in all these little compartments all around the movie, like the people who run the liquor store, how they're just like being cutesy, and how the people who run the deli, like their relationship gets reignited by the moon, So, and being a wolf and a dog, the guy's got all the dogs and they're all on their leashes, but there's wolves and dogs. Like there's all these great like metaphors that you could write papers about and all that BS, but it helps the whole story stick together, and the fact that it's kind of got this negative kind of darkness to it makes it not sappy and makes it much more comedic, which is genius. Yes. Why don't more movies do this?
Yeah, why don't we have more like that?
I mean, and so my family was very my dad's side of the family 100% of Italian, and
Italian.
It was like that, like the climax of this movie where they're all just in the kitchen, and it's just like that's what every holiday was like. Like I vividly remember that. And you said yours was basically the same, but you're Greek.
Yeah, well. Yeah, I'm Greek, so it's pretty much the same, really.
It's a Mediterranean thing, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure people in Tunisia feel the same way. What are some of the other Mediterranean?
It's just sort of that the love, and they're so vocal, and it's not, they really, say what they feel, and
and they feel a lot. Everybody feels a lot.
Yeah, a lot of the waspy families. My dad was super, like, he's white as F. He's like super British looking.
Okay, that's fine.
My mom is like 100% Greek, so our family was Greek. So my mom was Greek, so our family. My dad became Greek Orthodox to marry her when they were 21. Yeah.
Old. Well, I mean, my mom's side of the family, they're like English and Irish, and it certainly was their holidays was a lot, as opposed to like, hey, catching food, and they're yelling and people are telling stories and stuff, it was like, did you hear that Johnny got a promotion? Like, it's fangul, it's like just completely different, and not that one is better than the other, if any family members are watching, but the Italian way is much better. But that, like, the thing that sums up the whole movie that, like, I think that, like, because I think that my family watched this at Thanksgiving when we used to go to Pennsylvania. We had some family there, and just outside of Philadelphia. And I remember everybody, like, just hysterically laughing. Like what you were saying, and me just, like, laughing because they were laughing, but being, like, basically bored by the movie. But I remember lines like when Olivia Dukakis gets woken up in the middle of the night, and she just wakes up and goes, "Who's dead?"
Who's dead?
That's...
Oh my God! That's my family. I'm sure that's your family too.
That's a lot of families.
It's always like, who died?
Yeah. Oh, and go back to making Danny Aiello look like a putz. He goes, "Will you marry me?" Huh? Oh, and then he goes, "Will you marry me?" Huh? What? like.
They did everything they could to make him look terrible.
He goes, "But I love this ring."
So that when she hooks up with his younger brother, they're like, "Yeah, I get it. It's okay."
Yeah, that's actually
that bad.
That's a really important. You make a very good point about, like, narratively. That's really important so that we don't hate her, and we're instantly like, go with this guy. I mean, he's kind of nuts, but he's so passionate. He's like, "I lost my hand. I lost my wife." That scene.
Johnny's got his hand.
Johnny's got his. That scene's amazing.
I don't know which. Yeah, I don't know which monologue. I don't know if it's a monologue that I like better. Whether it's when she first shows up at his shop, and he does his whole lost my hand.
Yeah.
Or that scene when they're outside of his apartment after the opera. What he says to her is it like hits you. It's funny, but it kind of hits you hard.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Where he's like, "We're not here. We're here to ruin ourselves. We're not here. marry the wrong people and die. And like that hit me so hard. I'm like, yeah, he's right. We're not here to marry the right people or love the right people. We're here to just, mess around and ruin everything, and then, maybe hopefully find ourselves on a good side of it.
Because there's like no controlling it. Like it's almost like there's forces. That's kind of what the moon represents, I think, is that there's forces out of your control that are like compelling you, and you should just go with it, because especially all the older people just kind of see it and laugh. Like they see how it's repeating itself for the cycles, and they're like, even though like the oldest generation sees that. We have 3 generations in there. The middle generation is just coming to terms with it too, like, which is interesting as well. That's like kind of bizarre storytelling that like the parents are dealing with the same thing, and a modern version of this movie would like end in court, or it'd end on the altar. It would end on the altar, right? Where he'd come running in and be like, take my hand, literally. It'd be brutal. It'd be brutal.
No, I kind of feel like this movie ended in like the most perfect way possible.
You're so intimate.
Because because Danny Aiello's like, am I just giving away the movie here? I don't know. If you haven't seen it by now, you got a problem. But
or if you want to watch it, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Yeah. But anyway, spoilers from here on out. Yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah, it's fine.
I forgot what I was saying, but
Danny Aiello, something. Yeah.
I forget. I don't know, but
you were gonna spoil something about the end. He shows up. Sorry.
Yeah, he does. But I feel like, do you realize that? I didn't realize this until a couple days ago, that Nick Cage was 23 when he made that movie.
Okay.
23, and Cher was like 41.
Okay.
Danny Aiello was 52. So I don't understand how 20-year difference can have the brothers. Maybe, I don't know, but it's just interesting.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So
that's funny that
ended up dating him too.
Well, we can talk about the sexiness of Cher. She's like the female Rocky. Like her voice, she's like, go. She's like, go. What are you gonna do?
What did you think about her accent? Like at first I was like, that's a little too much.
Yeah, but then it's fine. I think also it seemed classic. It was just like, this is so classical. Like the classical, like she could, I don't know. And everybody talks like it. And her and Olivia Dukakis look so similar and talk so similarly.
Yes.
I think it's one of the most accurate familial connections on film where you like, holy shnikes, you can believe it. Like the way that they carry their face and stuff. That's brilliant casting all the way through. I mean, that's brilliant casting that I didn't really even think about the age differences. And you didn't really even think about it. And you've probably seen this more times than that.
Nick Cage, though, he doesn't look 23. You see his chest hair. I've never seen any 23-year-old that has chest hair that thick. He's 23. But,
and you might have dated Greek men. I thought they were a hairy bunch. No, just generally. But no, that's I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, he looks the same kind of now. I don't know. He gets so much crap. Nick Cage gets so much crap, but he has like, because he has to do like, because he bought like a castle in Romania or whatever, and he bought like a Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton. I think that's true. I think he had to sell that back. He does own.
I believe it.
Yeah, and so like he has to do 4 movies a year or whatever. But he has more fantastic movies than most actors do. Like between this, like now this is
Raising Arizona.
That was what I was going to say next.
Yeah, like I feel like
Adaptation.
This is classic Nick Cage. Oh yeah, Adaptation. That was really good. This is classic 80s Nick Cage, I feel.
Yes.
Like I don't know if Raising Arizona was first or.
Yeah, Raising Arizona was just before this. Just before this, 86 probably.
Yeah,
and this is 87.
But he was so funny in that movie. It's probably why he got casted in this movie, I'm guessing.
Yes, and he's Francis Ford Coppola's nephew, and the guy who directed The Godfather. So he's a Coppola. His last name's not Cage, it's Coppola. So he got in, but he deserves it, and he's crazy, and I love him, and it's
totally crazy.
It works. And yeah, and then he's got so many great, and then there's Leaving Las Vegas and all those serious ones. But there's a bunch of where he plays like a goofy boyfriend. Peggy Sue Got Married. You ever see that movie?
Yeah.
That movie's great. That movie's awesome. He doesn't have a huge role in that, but yeah, he's all over the place. But yeah, he had the hookup. And that's funny though that this movie is kind of like the comedic equivalent of The Godfather. Because it's like really kind of dark and negative, like, but it's all about the family, and even the way it's shot is fairly dark. And like, are you in love with him or do you like him? And she's like, I'm all crazy about him. She's like, oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Like, love don't make things nice. Love don't make things nice.
My mom will do that. She'll do the Olivia Dukakis, and she'll be like, oh, you love him, Mary? And I'll be like, I like him. She'll be like, that's good. And then when I say I love him, she'll be like, oh, it's too bad. She'll always do that. If I ever say that I love someone, oh, it's too bad. And I don't know about you, but did you have a lot of, my family used a lot of lines from that movie. Like, give me the big knife, that was used all the time. Bring me the big knife. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't. I wish it were.
Yeah.
I don't remember much. About
well, you're a little bit younger than me. It came out in 87, so I would have been 6.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, we're basically the same age anyways.
I mean, it wasn't like I was in the theater.
Yeah.
Playing it safe is the most dangerous thing a girl like you can do. That's like, I don't know. So there's so many like classic, like, I don't know. Have you ever seen any of the like classic golden era Hollywood romantic comedies like Frank Capra and ones with?
I'm not that.
You should check them out. I mean, at first you'll be like, these are in black and white. I'm bored, and you'll start looking at your phone. But this isn't just you. This is everybody. This is everybody. I'm not judging you.
Yeah.
But eventually, your ears will prick up because the dialogue is so fast, and a lot of the female characters actually have a good amount of agency, more so than they do in 80s and 90s movies, strangely. So like that's what I think is so long lasting about this movie is that Cher's character is like so confident and strong, and like you are one of like 10 women who have told me that this is their favorite movie, like throughout the course of my life. You know what I mean? And I like when I was watching it, I was like, oh well, obviously it's because it's not a sappy bullshit girly love story. It's like a realistic love story, and the main character is like a hero. They're not like you know, they're not like a damsel in distress.
I mean, I'm not saying this is a chick flick. It's not. But I can see how some guys would think that because there are a lot of maybe. Just
because there's a female protagonist.
I mean, maybe I'm. A lot of women like makeover scenes, okay? And there's a great makeover scene.
Yeah. But it's not like Hilary Duff coming out of the closet being like.
But I gotta say, as a woman, I loved that part of the movie. When I was a girl, I was like, oh, she gets to dress up, and you know.
Yeah.
As an adult, it's just cool. But when I was a girl, I was like, oh, that's cool. Cher, she became Cher all of a sudden.
Yes.
I forgot she was Cher.
Well, yeah, when I first started watching, it's funny because she has gray in her hair, and I didn't remember that, and I was like, oh, this must be a flashback. Like because I hadn't seen it in so long, I go, oh, that's they're starting like in the middle, and then they'll go back, and then I was like, oh no, that's right. But yeah, I mean, it's like a Cinderella story. That even happens in Cinderella's Beauty Shop. It's called. Like they're really trying to like follow that fairy tale thing.
Yeah.
But for whatever, so it's tapping into that, and I agree. I mean, see, I wonder because it's interesting. When I was a kid, I loved like there'd be the equivalent masculine scene would be like an action movie of loading up all the guns. Like putting all the grenades and the bandolier. Like, is that stereotypical that's what, or is that just how society is, and generally not 100%, but girls tend towards these sort of things and men tend toward these sort of things? You don't have to make some crazy generalization, but it is interesting because as I watch it now, I go, oh, this is just important to like build the tension and like in an action movie, or in this scene, it's to like make it the fairy tale and show her transitioning and blossoming, you know?
Yes.
But I wonder, I don't know.
I mean, I I don't know if I generalize it that way, but I just knew as a girl I appreciated that makeover scene.
Yeah.
And it made me
generalize.
interested in the movie. As an adult, no, but it wasn't that important to me. But I just remember as a kid, it really got me into the movie.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, I wonder. I think. See, now if Nick Cage had loaded up a bunch of guns, I maybe would have been watching this movie my whole life.
Yeah, you would have been like, you would love the movie.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Kev says the Rocky training, like of Ivan Drago, is the male equivalent, like the working out.
Yeah. Okay.
No, Kevin's wrong about that, because that is the equivalent if you're a man and you are like looking at sweaty muscles, pumping sweaty muscles. Kev, is that what you're interested in? Hot communist muscles, just. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, it's right. No, but he's more right, because it's like the transition, showing a transition.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's a movie I'm gonna watch for the rest of my life now, and
Yes.
I it's up there, and it's nice, and it's like, I think being so cynical about love and then having moments where genuine love shines through, it makes it way more poignant.
Yeah.
Than a movie where it's like, girls just want to have fun, like just like that kind of like really fluffy bullshit. But this, I don't think it eclipses When Harry Met Sally, though. I put When Harry Met.
I do love that movie.
That doesn't have the cultural stuff. This is so much like interesting culture, especially with the bad luck, which is totally superstition that comes from Catholicism.
Yes, I know about that.
Yes, that's a huge thing.
In the Greek family, it's called, you got to get your matcha. You'd have like a matcha, and it was like an evil eye that you put on your, I don't know. But yeah, the superstitions.
Yes, that is a huge thing that comes from like ancient Rome, left over from like pagans, and then like all the Catholic like oogity boogity stuff, I'm Catholic. I don't know, there's the crazier stuff, I mean, or perfectly normal, whatever you believe in, it's fine. Okay, opening shot is of the Twin Towers, which always gives me like,
that's right.
And then the last.
I think there's a couple shots of the Twin Towers.
It still affects me,
and I was
man.
like, oh shit, I forgot that this was 14 years before that happened. But
I know.
Yeah, it is crazy to see the Twin Towers.
It's just strange. Yeah, it's just strange. And then I think the last shot is one of the more poignant last shots I've seen in a long time. It kind of like pulls away from the family, and it goes back to this picture of like the original seeds. Yeah. And it makes you go, oh, that's kind of beautiful that love can just like, it fractals out to this whole, like, and here it comes all the way back to this one little, and they look happy and stuff. And maybe they are like the Twin Towers, except their love will stay forever. I don't know. Maybe. That's what a film, that's what, if I were in grad school and I had to write a story, I'd be like, they're both standing in the frame, like the tower. And then the teacher would read the first paragraph and, get drunk and throw it away and go, whatever, you passed. It's only film. Nobody cares. I read what that Puccini play is about that they go and see thinking would have some really deep meaning, and it doesn't. It's just it's a love story and stuff, but it doesn't like, it doesn't mimic the story like perfectly or anything, but that's a super Godfather thing, having people go to the opera and be like, and then going out and having it mimic that same thing.
Yes.
It's awesome.
I even liked how they focused on the crystals that came down when they were waiting for the show. I don't know why. Maybe just because I love going to the theater, and anytime you see them coming down, the show's going to start.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's very tiny.
It's those details.
I like showing.
Yeah, it's those details that make it feel authentic, and that remind you of what it's like to do those things, I'm really glad we did this, and I one day hope Cosmo's moon will shine upon me.
Am I your first woman on there?
You're my first woman.
Yes.
You're my first woman ever, Mary. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yes, the community.
You have a lot of women friends?
No, I don't really.
I don't either, Joe. But
that's because they're horrible. No, I'm joking. I'm gonna have my mom and my dad on. I know them. No, I mean, I don't know. I basically, yeah. I wanted to, I don't know. You're right. I want to diversify it more, but like the women that I do know, they're like currently in my class and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've never had anybody on who's currently in my class. I just like,
currently, yeah.
You know what I mean? Once they're, even if
that is weird.
it's just not, I don't know, it's just not appropriate or whatever, but like for whatever reason, because then it seems like in some way I'm favoring them, or because somebody doesn't want to go on camera, then it looks like, I can't get to like have this interaction because I don't want it broadcast. You know, that's just a frowned upon thing. Like I usually wait till people graduate, and I usually pick people who are like really passionate about a movie specifically, or they're like in it. They're in the film, you know, in some degree, like they teach film or whatever. Since you were passionate about it, I was like, let's do it. And I've been wanting to do it. And it's hard to, people also are like, what the hell? I want to do that. You know? Anyway, what else?
I know, I'm not as, I'm never running to the camera.
Well, you did great. And I thought you were going to come on and be like, like, be like, sorry, you know? And it would just be like, or have some crazy. I don't know, man. He bought a metal house and he started a YouTube channel just to catch you. I mean, the whole point, I'm waiting for, that's why I did it, was this is a lobster trap, baby.
I mean, the fact that I even met Kevin is amazing, okay? The fact that he even said yes to meeting me, now that I know him, it's amazing.
That's what I'm saying. That's how desperate he was, you know? He was like, no, this is... Because what I figure, I try internet dating, but the thing is that it's like very like the awesomeness of my personality. You need hours of footage to really get me. So I figured, that just a few pictures of me kissing a dog. Yeah, see, that's some guys need hours.
And I was like, I know who this guy is. I've dated this guy before. I've been friends with, like, I know this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I reached out, and I'm like, dude, I don't know if you know this, but I'm kind of a female version of you. But, you know.
Do you have do you ever, are you going to mow the lawn too? That was when I fell in love. That was when I fell in love. When he was mowing the lawn, and I was like, the internet's awesome. Like, I'm feeling accomplished. This dude's mowing his lawn, and don't project on me, bro. All right. Okay.
I would fall asleep to those mowing the lawn. It was really relaxing because you'd hear the birds and, you know, whatever, the crickets. And
throwing chestnuts and whatever.
Fall asleep to that shit.
Yeah. He's a good dude. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure we'll see each other at some point at a Fish concert once the world isn't over. And Ohio's not that far away. I drove through it once going to South Bend, Indiana to see a football game at Notre Dame in a Winnebago with 11 people in it. I can't believe we didn't die. One idea I wanted to run past you. I came up with a game show. This is all I have for the name of the game show, and then I'll let you go. It's called Draw Your Genitals. I don't know. You can figure that out. We'll talk about it later. That's for the whole community.
Would it be both men and women, or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's everybody. No, it's not. And then maybe you get scored on your accuracy, and then you have to reveal your genital. Draw your genitals. And then there'd be special rounds where you literally draw on your genitals. That would be. And then someone else would guess.
That's an idea, Joe.
There's all different rounds, you know, where you have somebody come in and go, draw based on, just look at this guy, draw his genitals, you know? And then every once in a while, it'd be like, you could have trans people on too, and it would be a real, like, you could, lightning round, you know? Or just based on the ass.
So you see somebody and you draw what you think their genitals look like.
Yeah, and then based on your accuracy, you get pointed. And there'd be 3 judges, like in Who Wants to Dance or whatever.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
So they would know what it looks like before they draw it, maybe.
I don't know. They have a picture. They have a picture, and the audience has a picture, like in a game show where we know the word. So when they reveal, there's a side-by-side for us.
Dude, I would watch that. I would definitely watch that show.
Dude, if eating hot chicken wings is a show, then this is a show. All right. Thank you so much for being on. We'll have to do another movie coming up, and, you know, whatever. Thank you guys for being a part of my internet life. I know we're not truly friends, but close enough.
Well,
as close as you're going to get. All right, I'm going to play bad music till everybody goes away. I'll talk to you soon. Let me get rid of you on the screen, or it'll like show all your information. So I'm going to switch back to the regular screen. Oh, is there anything else you wanted to say about the lovely Moonstruck? No? I think you did a great job.
No. Watch it if you haven't seen it by now.
I know. It's actually hard to find. It's not.
Is it?
Well, I couldn't.
You know what? I bought it on Amazon a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
So
it's nowhere for free, is what I'm saying. It's nowhere for free.
Yeah, I don't know where it is now.
Unless you have, I think maybe if you have like some special part of Hulu, like a premium Hulu account, I think you can get.
Maybe.
Anyway, all right. I'll talk to you later, Mary. Have a nice day. Say hi to Kevin for me. Okay, you can shut off now. Your mic is off, and I will shoot you an email or a text after. Thank you very much. But you're not on screen, so you can go away without showing all your information. Wonderful. Okay, guys, I'm going to play a little bit of music. That was great. We had our first female guest, and she did a great job, and she's better than me at this, actually. Okay, let's see what happens when I push some of these buttons. Bring me the big knife.